Design is an emotion, and those minute details help us shape the space that they really want to have. So, when you see the entire space combined, you know that is one whole space. Is your space is not a post, it is your home, it is your office, it is your space.
Let us take you into the world of design. Not the kind you're thinking of. We are talking about the art of transforming spaces. Yes, interior design. In this episode, we dive deep into topics such as conscious design decisions that create soulful homes, the power of rehabilitation and reimagining spaces, the growing focus on sustainability, the importance of building a strong portfolio, and how to navigate the ever evolving world of design to achieve success. This podcast is for students aspiring to study interior design, professionals already working in the field, looking to upgrade their skills, and curious minds eager to explore what this creative world has to offer. Joining me on this journey is Miss Rohini Bagala, an industry expert with over 20 years of experience and a portfolio spanning more than 250 projects. Her work has been featured in Elle Decor, Architects and Interiors, and Good Homes, to name a few. Hi, Rohini.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine too.
How is the untold stories of space doing in your end today?
I think they're really interesting and very intriguing. And the more you get into the depth of it, you really want to know much more about it.
Talking about knowing much more about it, I would like to know your design philosophy.
I think a design is an emotion. It has to be very personal. So when we do up a space for someone, we try and understand their lifestyle, what they like, what they want to have in their space. We will understand the smallest details, like whether they like warm mornings or they like a bright morning. And those minute details help us shape the space that they really want to have. Imagine you walking into your home after a long, long day. Your space has to make you feel grounded. It should not be Instagrammable, but it
Correct.
should feel like a home.
Yeah. You mentioned about you should not feel like you're going to an Instagrammable home, but a grounded home. Um, Now talking about your sense of designing, you believe that minimalism with simplicity brings in soul. How do you do that?
I think at the end of the day, or whatever space that we are designing, whether it's commercial or residential, should feel just apt. It should not be cluttered.
Mm.
It should not be designed, or things should not be put or used just for the sake of having that thing. That example, a particular thing has been passed on, so that has to be there. No, you can try and repurpose it in a different way. For me, homes or any space should feel minimalist, which does not mean empty. It means it needs to have a rhythm. It should have a soul at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So when you see the entire space combined, you know that is one whole space.
Not here and there, just interesting. Um, do you think that social media trends in terms of design, interior designing, um, is leading the demand of clients in today's time?
Oh, I think social media is such a fantastic tool. It gives you access to so much creativity. But but sadly, everything is looking same because everyone's taking out images from Pinterest and Instagram, and at the end of the day, everyone's faces are looking same.
Everybody want everything white.
Yeah, at the end of the day, then I go and tell my clients that you should not follow a trend. It is your space is not a post. It is your home. It is your office. It is your space. It should define your story. It should not be following a trend because trends come and go. What stays in the end is your space, which is your story. So I can proudly say that I design for spaces that are to stay and not to scroll.
Wow, that's a good one. In your blogs, you have mentioned your fondness towards wood. How do you work and bring in different aesthetics with wood in today's time?
So I actually work with a lot of materials, and I try and incorporate a lot of ideas into one space. But one thing which is constant is wood. Definitely, I love wood, not just because the warmth that it gets, but because of the resilience. For me, I think in a world where everything is constantly changing, the designs are changing, there are new trends that are emerging, it is beautiful to use a material that has stood the test of time. Wood has always been there.
Yeah.
I think that grounds the space and connects your past to the future and helps making spaces look beautiful.
Can we also say that wood is a kind of a, what's that exact word? A
Like the
material
kindly
factor? Yeah,
kind of,
in,
for
in,
me,
in
yes, it
design.
is.
We are seeing that traditional art forms like Wari are being reimagined in contemporary um, homes and making it a modern day aesthetic. What is your take on that?
I think India is a treasure to some beautiful art forms.
Hmm.
Uh, and if used properly, I think they can be absolutely magical. I don't treat these ancient and beautiful art forms as history, but I um, take it as a design game changer. I would say, example, I would pick up a Madhubani and use that on my wardrobe shutters. I could pick
Yeah.
up a Gond art form and I could decide a flooring pattern with that.
Hmm.
I could pick up a Wali art and I could have my soft furnishings and upholstery or curtains in that. Imagine an age old art
Huh.
form merging with modern clean lines. It's going to be definitely something.
A game changer, we can say that. Yes. Um, in this modern time, the content creation is again a game changer and a game, and there are so many in this fast design world. How do you keep yourself grounded and make design at your pace to make it what stand out, and at the same time bring in soul, your purpose?
I think at the end of the day, what I feel is that I design from my heart. I don't go by trends. I will not pick up something which is really trending right now. I don't follow the algorithm. For me, I know what my client is going to like, and I'm here to assist them uh, to give options that they couldn't imagine that they can do. Pinterest is available for everyone,
Yeah.
but what are we here for? We are here for we are here to give them that kind of an idea that yeah, your space can look like this when you merge two three different forms. Your space does not have to be one particular theme. It can be a merger of two three themes. So at the end of the day, you have to be confident with what you're doing and you have to follow your heart.
Let the pencil do its magic.
Yes, absolutely.
We are seeing a sudden shift towards environment conscious designing. What would you suggest to the students who wants to pursue environmental conscious designing in their career, in terms of courses or the things that they can keep in mind while working on it?
I think sustainability is one of the most spoken about topics
Mm.
today. But what we need to understand is that sustainability is just not one element or one piece of the entire thing. Sustainability is a whole concept. You have to follow sustainability in every aspect. So when we design spaces, we make sure that we don't even close any window space. Even if a client says that okay, we don't need it, we do not close it, and we advise them to keep it open because it gives you that kind of airflow and your natural light.
Yeah.
But for me, we would love using breathable fabrics like linen, cotton. We would try and repurpose the wood that our clients have. We would try and use paints which have low VOC. At the
If you
end,
could please give VOC full form.
yeah, it's a volatile organic compound, so it's not harmful for your health.
Oh, okay.
So when the workers are also working,
Mm.
we have to think about their sustainability as well, right?
Yeah.
So when they are using paints which have low VOC, it does not affect their health also. You have to be sustainable from all angles.
Yeah.
So for any student who's wanting to pursue a career in sustainability, I think it's a complete topic on its own.
Mm.
It is, we need people now to actually follow this and implement this because definitely our earth needs it.
You said your opinion about environment, right? Being making sustainable, conscious choice. Now, recently we are seeing lot of projects on rehabilitation and saving the museums, whatever that is happening, right? The projects that is working on. What is your take on that?
I think rehabilitation is a beautiful concept and it should be followed much more. Um, in rehabilitation, we actually maintain a soul of the space. So, example, think about walking into a 70-year-old building. You don't see a broken tile or you don't see a broken furniture. What you see is a story that's untold. So, you need to preserve that and you need to make it useful for today. You are not going to change it. You're just going to repair it and restore it so that today's generation can see and experience what was the story 70 years old back.
Yeah. There are homes like 75-year-old homes, 80-year-old ancestral homes, that Havelis in India, they have this concept of Havelis and all. Um, how do make sure that, what would your advice will be that in terms of maintaining those homes, and then sometimes repairing cost more, then people will start rebuilding it. What would you suggest to those people? Should you reconcile them, maintain the, as you said, 70 or 75-year-old stories, or should you just go according to the modern day aesthetic?
Every space, every country has a history.
Hmm.
We should be responsible to preserve it. And if given a choice, you should definitely restore it. Restoration and repair is always more expensive than making something new. But you need to take that little effort and make sure that our history is preserved for the generations to come and see.
Where can students look out for opportunities, who are interested in this kind of projects? Can you suggest some?
There are a lot of colleges who are specifically inclined towards certain courses. So I think the most important thing for any student is to first decide what is the kind of niche that they want to enter into.
Yeah.
Interior is also very broad, as it has a very broad spectrum. Now you need to take a call whether you want to get into sustainable architecture, whether you want to get into restoration, or whether you want to get into modern architecture.
We are recently seeing change also in terms of advancement in technology. How does it reflect in design part in your field?
I think technology has such an important role now to play in any industry. Specifically in the design field, I think the gap between imagination and execution of that idea has become very small because of technology.
Mm.
You talk about your 3D renders or you talk about your AI assisted tools. You can absolutely visualize a space even before you pick up a hammer. So at the end of the day, technology has made it's helped our creativity advance. But coming back to what I would want to reinforce here is technology should enhance your creativity, not take over. What people are doing, people are thinking that technology can take over. No.
Yeah.
Even today, I design by intuition. I don't design by technology. Technology is there to aid us, not to take over, as I said.
Yeah.
Even today, I would sketch by hand. Even today, I would feel a material before using it.
Interesting. Universities, some universities have now their own design studios based on contemporary technologies and workshops. How do you think that will help students if when they are studying in this kind of universities? Does that support in their goal? It gives them an edge in their career while they are studying?
So, definitely technology, social media, these are there today, and you cannot avoid them. You have to embrace them in a very positive way. You should let these things be a part of the course, but in a very impactful way that it helps you grow.
Mm.
But it should not um, pull you back from what you are. It should not pull back your imagination. It should not pull back your intuition.
Sure.
So it has to be an overall package wherein there's design, there are softwares that you learn, there's technology, there's social media, there's out of class on site ground experience. Everything will compile that perfect course.
Now tell me this, you said that on-site ground experience. So during your in the module itself, it is said that during the course duration that you have this, you work on life projects, internships. How does it help a student to grow? Does it, uh, do you think internships and this things like life projects give you an understanding of what the real world looks like in this field?
Absolutely. See, at the end of the day, you are in a very practical field. So, what you're studying in classrooms, that is to give you a theoretical knowledge of what you can apply. But until you are there on field, you will absolutely not know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Uh, a drawing may look very simple to make, but when you are on site, there'll be so many challenges that the site will pose on you. You'll have to come up with quick solutions. I think more than designers, we are problem solvers. That is what we are doing every day because we know that we want to achieve a particular look, but we have to maintain the problems on site. We have to understand them and give proper solutions that look appealing also and are practical as well. So for people who intern with me, I make sure that I give them as much of on-site experience as I can because they're already learning the theory bit in their colleges.
Yeah.
They have come to me to learn something which will mold them to be designers. And I'm glad I can provide that experience to them.
Key skills that the student need to, you said you take interns, right? So what you look, the key skills that you look in your interns when you hire them, and you also like that your employees should have.
I think the one most important thing is your hunger for growth. That is very important.
Mm.
I'm very passionate about what I do, and you have to love what you do. You have to be ready to accept that, okay, I'm going to uh, go that extra mile to learn. You need to have an open mind to learning. The more open you are, the more you'll learn, the more you'll grow. So for me, that is very important. We will teach you everything, but you need to have that openness that I'm coming with an open mind and I want to learn. I'm coming here to learn. And believe me, when interns leave, they actually they say that we've learned so much in 3 months. So usually internships are between 3 to 6 months. So people, so the interns say the amount we've not learned in 3 years, we've learned here in 3 months.
So we can say that an interior design aspirant should have hunger for growth and more.
Absolutely. You have to be consistent, you have to be persistent, and you need to have a hunger for growth.
The key thing that a student need to have in your field is a strong portfolio. Based on your portfolio, your portfolio is strong enough for more than 250 projects, if I'm not mistaken the number.
Right.
What would you give them in terms of guidance, the things that needs to have in that portfolio?
I personally feel where people take this in a different way is like a portfolio should be a collection of good looking photos. No, it's much beyond that. It it needs to show your design voice. It should not be a catalog. It should be like a story. Every project should be like a story. A story of that family whose home has been done, a story of that client who's done their office or a commercial space. Every project has to be different because every story is different. All your projects cannot look similar.
Yeah.
Then you're following Pinterest, you're following trends. So your portfolio should have a variety of work that talks about your design language, about your design journey, and how you bring different narratives of different spaces into one.
Term it is how important is understanding the market and building relationships in your field.
Um, I think as I always say that we at times act as psychologists to our clients because a lot of times our clients also don't know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
We are in constant touch with what is happening in the market, the products that are there in the market. We attend a lot of exhibitions throughout the world to understand what's new and what can we suggest to a client. We try and compile everything and give our clients those ideas and concepts and products on a platter so that they can select from it. Because we are traveling, we are exposed to a lot of different things that are happening around. And if a client has come to us, it is our responsibility to educate them on what's happening, what product is good, what product is going to help them design their space in a better way. We do not just think about present, we will think about a space for the next 5, 10, 15 years. So that is how we understand the market and explain our client.
Some key advice that you would give to students based on your experience?
Um, Now, as I've already said, that enter into this field only if you are passionate about it. Passion is going to drive this field. Do not take it as a business. That'll come automatically. You have to be very honest with what you do. You need to be constantly creative. And if you are a creative person, it'll come automatically. Your creativity can come with your travels, it can come with even you taking a stroll in the park. So keep your eyes and ears open. Just don't design with your eyes, design with your ears and eyes. Listen to your client, understand what they need, understand their needs, and then design. It should look aesthetically appealing for you as well as them, for the family who's going to use the space.
Interest. Nice news. Any closing takeaway and a book that you would recommend?
I think all the best to people who are wanting to get into this field. I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine myself doing anything else.
That's great. And
Yeah.
a book that you would recommend?
Fountainhead?
Oh, great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Most
You a
welcome.
soulful day.
You too. Thank you.